look.
Winds that are howling 50, 60 miles per hour. I'm gonna ride this one out, guys. I'm gonna ride this one out right here.
Today on Weather Geeks, the storm tracker, Jim Cantore. 80 tropical storms, unforgettable moments. It's really an honor to have you. I've been wanting to have you on the show for quite since we've been doing it, so I'm happy to have you here.
Oh, thank you for having me, sir. I appreciate that.
You're a legend.
It's been a wild ride.
Yeah.
80 tropical systems, depressions, hurricanes, storms since 1992.
Yeah, I mean, and 1992 comes to mind because I was a graduate student at Florida State at the time, and around that time, everyone knows about Hurricane Andrew. Any special moments as we come up on the anniversary of Andrew for you in covering that storm?
Well, first of all, I started back at the studio watching Dennis Smith go through it. And, you know, watching just unthinkable pictures and certainly hearing about what Brian did down there. So you do that, and then all of a sudden the Weather Channel came to me and they said, Jim, do you want to cover the second landfall of Andrew? Because it's going to come into the Gulf, maybe re-intensify.
And most people don't realize they had a second landfall. I think people just remember the Florida landfall.
They do forget that.
Yes.
And I said, absolutely, because this is what I did as a kid.
Right.
I loved being outside in the weather.
Right.
I loved it when it stormed.
Exactly.
So I really wanted to get out there and feel essentially what we're showing on Matt Product all week.
And in terms of covering that second landfall, was there anything memorable that stood out to you about that?
Well, yeah, let's see. A, I had hair back then, so that's kind of memorable. Two was the storm stalled over the bayou.
Right.
So we all went to bed. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and my air conditioner unit, there was a unit in the window, blew right in. It blew right in.
Really?
And I mean, I sit up out of bed, and I'm looking outside the window all the way down to the ground, and out in the distance, and, you know, there's power flashes all over the place. It looks like the 4th of July.
Exactly.
But I just said, you know, we got to go live. This thing's coming in. It's impacting Baton Rouge.
Right.
We got to go live. So I wake up my producer, and finally, by about 4 o'clock, we went on the air, which was the earliest we've ever been live. Right. Now we do it all the time.
Yes, exactly.
But you know, that was just a wild ride.
So, I mean, in 80 storms, I mean, you have to have some memorable stories. Just what are some of the things that jump out to you the most in terms of covering storms over that period? Just your favorite moments or your craziest moments?
Well, you know, there's a lot of bad moments.
Right.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, when you go through the Katrinas and the Irenes, you know, there's just a lot of bad memories, unfortunately. Right. So that's kind of top of mind. But I've done a job my job over the years of just compartmentalizing that and moving on and realizing that every storm is a mission to me.
Absolutely.
And it's changed over the years. It's gone from an adrenaline rush kid out there, where even the administrator of FEMA, Craig Fugate, used to tell me when he was the director of Florida, it's a state of emergency. He says, you know, Cantore, I don't like it when you go out there. I really don't like it.
Well, let's build on that, because I've actually been vocal on this issue. I mean, I'm concerned that there are some copycats out there and people that may be perceiving that we're saying don't do what I'm doing. But I mean, you have a different perspective on this, and Craig Fugate has some concerns at times about this. I mean, what is your thought on this and the critics out there that say we shouldn't even be doing this sort of on-site reporting in the midst of the storm?
Well, I mean, essentially what happened was, you know, he saw me out there in all these storms, and I'm telling everyone to leave, and just common sense says, well, if you're telling everyone to leave, why are you staying?
Right.
And of course, he's right.
Right.
But as I grew into this role, especially in '96, and I remember this woman coming up to me, Fran, and she said, you know, Jim, I know it's going to get bad, but I'm just really glad that you're here to take us through it.
Right.
And so all of a sudden, now I had purpose out there. There was a purpose of me being in the field, taking these people through the storm, asking them to evacuate, and then showing them what it's like after the storm.
But do you see any examples of people that may not have the experience or knowledge that you do? They're out there copycatting or putting themselves at risk, amateurs?
Well, I mean, when we did Fran, for example, in '96, it was me, CNN, and the Raleigh station.
Okay.
By the time we did Katrina in 2005, as the Weather Channel, we are now bucking for space to park our satellite truck.
Right.
So everyone latched onto this. I mean, it is Mother Nature's show. It is the ultimate reality.
Exactly.
It doesn't get much more real.
No, Jim, you're on the ground quite a bit, and in fact, there are jokes out there because when people see you coming, they're like, "Oh no, what's going to happen here in my town?" But what do people tell you on the ground if they aren't leaving these environments? We have a lot of people that don't get out when we have these storms coming. They don't evacuate. What's been your experience with the stories? Have they seen it before? They feel like they can ride it out? What are your thoughts there?
You know, back in Gustav, I was in Houma, Louisiana.
Back here, and it's still going. Look at that.
I was just so critical of people not leaving.
Really? Okay.
And I just couldn't believe they wouldn't leave.
Right.
But over the years, I've learned this is all they have.
Good point.
This is it for them. They don't have the money to leave. They don't know what they're going to come back to. So their tendency is not to leave.
Right.
And you go ask Billy Nungesser down there in Plaquemines Parish, there have been people that didn't leave for Katrina and they didn't leave for Isaac.
Right.
That came in.
Right.
As a matter of fact, he rescued both of them, or had something to do with rescuing both, right. You know, all of them at the second time around. So I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to give you your best options. And what we want you to do, we absolutely want you to leave when there's an evacuation order given. But I'm just telling you, I understand where some of these people are coming from these days.
Now, on another note, have you been personally at a point where you were scared for your life?
You know, being a meteorologist kind of helps you a little bit because you understand storm surge, you understand wind, you understand that things are going to float around and be moved around by the wind. So really, it's my job to let my crew try and, you know, comprehend what's about to happen here. That's what I did in most of our storms because, I mean, you know, these are photographers, these are people that specialize in other areas, not meteorology. They don't understand storm surge. Right. Even with this last storm we dealt with on the Carolina coast.
Right, yeah.
You know, Bertha, I mean, people, my producers who have been out with me before hadn't seen storm surge like that come in from the sound side. So I'm like, guys, water's going to come up. Trust me, the water's going to come up, but we have to stay right here. It's not going to get higher than this. We're safe. Our vehicles are safe right here. We just have to be out of it. Yeah, and it's, you know, storm surge, inundation, inland freshwater flood. These are some of the hazards. We focus at times on the wind, but these surge events and the inland freshwater flooding, as the Hurricane Center and others have noted, are the big dangers, and people just don't really perceive that. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in the next block because I want to get more of what your experiences were, particularly with Hurricane Katrina as we go forward. That was the big one. That was the big one. For me, anyway. Exactly. And Superstorm Stanley, I'm curious to hear more about in the next block as well about your experiences as well and perspective on Sandy as we come forward. So we'll talk about some of those very issues in the next block. Jim will tell us about his famous Katrina story, what happened, and how he weathered it, one of the most devastating hurricanes in American history. Next on Weather Geeks.
Is this really the best way to pick color for a whole room? There's a new way to paint. With the new Project Color app, take any color on a virtual test drive. It's part of the new Color Center experience from the Home Depot. Everything you need to get the right color right. Let's do this in hand, online, and at the store. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Get $10 off 1-gallon cans of interior and exterior paints and stains.
1 can of Bush's beans. Well, this is a predicament. Home style sounds good, but country style not without its charms. Brown sugar hickory? Who says no to hickory? Not this guy. New sweet heat? Sure. There are no rules here. No rules on aisle 4.
Our new sweet heat is cooked according to our secret family recipe with a sweet and spicy chili sauce.
Did you get a can of Bush's beans?
Yes, I did.
Bush's Beans. What's your favorite flavor?
We're geeking out on what's happening in weather, how it happens, and why it's so freaking cool.
Weather Underground, weeknights at 6 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 87 degrees, under partly cloudy skies. today. Thunderstorms, high 86. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Chance of rain, 80%. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 75. Chance of rain, 80%. Monday, partly cloudy with an afternoon shower or thunderstorm. High 88. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Weekdays on AMHQ.
I want to make sure everybody can get an idea of what's happening here.
Let's talk about that.
Let's lift the base of this.
You're about to see something you have never seen on television before.
Zantac heartburn alert! Stop! Nexium can take 24 hours to work. Zantac's different. Zantac rushes relief in as little as 30 minutes. For relief without the wait, try Zantac. No pill relieves heartburn faster. Andrew, Rita, Sandy. Meet Chris, Jackie, Joe. Minor damage or major disaster. When you need us most, we're there. State Farm. We're a force of nature, too.
It's easy to love your laxative when that lax loves your body back. Only Miralax hydrates, eases, and softens to unblock naturally, so you have peace of mind from start to finish. Love your laxative, Miralax.
Fall is in the air at Lowe's. Time to get your home ready with big Labor Day savings, like 10% off in-stock deck boards and fence panels. Plus, get 10% off in-stock Charbroil gas grills $249 or more. So hurry in today for fall's best deals at Lowe's.
Okay, this is take 8.
There we go. Voiceovers, take 8, coming up in 3, 2. In fact, medical research has proven that regular exercise can actually improve your cardiovascular health. Although it's important to set aside time in your daily schedule to exercise, it's even more important to pick the right activity.
I wonder if I was sucking in helium before that.
Man, who is that guy? This is actually your first job out of college, right? Weather Channel?
Yeah, can't you tell?
Yeah,
I was filling in for Travolta during Staying Alive.
Tell us a little bit about that Jim Cantore.
I sound like I was on helium or something when I was reading that. I still to this day really don't know how I got this job.
Right.
I think there was a friend that worked here, and they were looking at where all these meteorologists were coming from out of college, and they just happened to see a tape of mine because at Linden State College we get to do the weather. It was the hair. So the good news is I was hired when I had hair, not when I don't. But I prefer it like this, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
But it's just been a great ride.
Yeah,
it's been a great ride.
My first job was at NASA, and that was kind of my dream job. But then I did move on to the University of Georgia. But you never really know how you fall into those situations.
This has never gotten old.
Right. I mean,
it's always awesome.
We're kids and candy. We're getting paid to do what we're passionate about. Me since 6th grade. I know you very young as well. But getting back to the topic here, hurricanes and just things that we remember about your career. I know the Hurricane Katrina, which was really devastating to many people. I know you have some special memories and thoughts about that and your story on Katrina.
I mean, it's the bar for me. I mean, it's the one that all the rest of them are measured by because it was 17 days out there. Right. I mean, I covered the first landfall down in Fort Lauderdale. And I'll never forget that thing coming in as a developing hurricane.
Right.
It moves across Florida like it was nothing.
Right.
Like it wasn't even land
exactly.
there. And I remember seeing the obs out of Key West as this thing's moving away, still gusting to 65 miles an hour, still gusting. So now I know it's expanding in size. You wake up Saturday morning with this awful feeling in the pit of your stomach because now we've driven all the way from Florida up to Mississippi. And you're like, holy cow, this is a monster. You almost sense death.
Right.
Just because how big this is. And people aren't going to understand how awful this is going to be.
Right.
So anyway, we started in Biloxi, eventually wound up at Gulfport in the second of 2 Armed Forces retirement homes in the United States. 475 heroes over there were there. We were told we were at 27 feet above sea level. I thought that'll be fine because that'll get us out of the surge, right?
Right. You would think.
We weren't because I checked the engineering specs afterward. Regardless, I don't know why we were told that, but we were. we bought in because the structure was built like Fort Knox versus a hotel with a light tinny roof. I didn't want to deal with that. So anyway, we stayed there, and what essentially became a broadcast turned into a rescue effort.
Right.
You know, because now we have to get all these heroes off the first floor, which is where all the medicine is, where everybody's eating that morning, because between 8:06 and 8:20, we saw literally 15 feet of water come into the Mississippi coastline.
And you know, that's real, as we all know, that Gulf Coast, New Orleans region in general is just kind of a worst case scenario in many ways. And plus, we saw Katrina intensify as it moved over the loop current out in the Gulf. It kind of went back down, but it's a really devastating storm. So as we move into the next segment on Weather Geeks, we're going to talk about some of the worst hurricanes that you can remember and what some of the worst hurricanes that people remember. It really depends on where you live, and we'll take a look at that next.
It does. They're all bad, certainly, if they impact you. But first, our Geek of the Week. Who is it? My good buddy down at the Hurricane Center, Jamie Rome. He is a storm surge specialist and a team lead at the National Hurricane Center. He oversaw the implementation of the National Hurricane Center's new storm surge inundation graphic, which we will see actually next year. Jamie says he's seen many landfalling hurricanes in his 15 years at NHC, but Sandy tops the list. Who doesn't love convergence of barotropic and baroclinic dynamics, right?
Come on home to the savory smokehouse taste of Ackridge smoked sausage. It's that irresistible smokehouse flavor that helps make every moment rich.
The love is waiting, so come on home.
Oh. That detergent was like half the price.
And we'll have to use like double, maybe more.
I'm going back to the store.
Yes, you are.
Dish issues? Get Cascade Complete. 1-pack cleans tough food better than 6-packs of the bargain brand combined. Cascade, now that's clean.
Can a protein originally found in a jellyfish improve your memory? Our scientists say yes. Researchers have discovered a protein that actually supports healthier brain function. It's the breakthrough in a supplement called Prevagen. As we age, we lose proteins that support our brain. Prevagen supplements these proteins and has been clinically shown to improve memory. It's safe and effective. For support of healthier brain function, a sharper mind, and clearer thinking, try Prevagen for yourself today.
Need new tires? Right now at Pep Boys, when you get 3 Falcon, Cooper, or Hankook tires, you get the 4th tire free instantly. Plus, get no interest and paid in full within 12 months on your Pep Boys credit card. Trust the boys to get you there.
Not so long ago, on a street just around the corner,
Dad.
the force was strong between father and son.
You got it?
What are you doing, buddy?
It's my You Walk Happy dance.
Of course it is.
Today,
Hello.
Hey, Daddy.
it is passed on to a new generation.
You got it?
You walk dance?
Yeah.
And the circle is now complete. Walmart has always been the best place in the galaxy to get everyday low prices on Star Wars.
Glad you're with us right here on AMHQ. The whole team.
Right? Either go all in or just tap out.
Here we go. I told you, we're going to bust out of this drought.
As we say, keep watching with us this morning because we're all watching history happen together.
We live in a pick and choose world. Choose, choose, choose. But at bedtime, why settle for this? Enter Sleep Number. Right now, all beds are on sale. Sleep IQ technology tells you how well you slept and what adjustments you can make. You like the bed soft. He's more hardcore. So your sleep goes from good to great to wow. Only at a Sleep Number store. Right now, save 50% on the Labor Day limited edition bed, plus 24-month special financing. Hurry, ends Monday. No better sleep with Sleep Number.
Are you in chronic pain or want to avoid surgery? At Stem Cell Centers of America, our state-of-the-art MaxStem procedure allows us to take your body's own healing cells and move them directly to the source of your pain and discomfort, all without invasive surgery. Call now to schedule a free, no-obligation consultation with one of our doctors. Discover how Stem Cell Centers of America can help you live a more active, pain-free life.
This kind of weather, all bets are off.
Okay, so you have 3 kids, and they all want to go to the pool now. But if it's going to start pouring, don't you want to know before you go? Now the Weather Channel can help you make the right call. Download the app and know when the rain starts and where the lightning strikes.
To the movies!
Smart move, Mom. The Weather Channel app. Weather precise.
Currently in our area, 86 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, thunderstorms likely. High 86. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Chance of rain 80%. Tonight, scattered thunderstorms. Low 75. Winds light and variable. Chance of rain 80%. Monday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 89. Chance of rain 60%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Hey, welcome back to Weather Geeks. Now, if you travel around the United States and ask someone what hurricane do they remember the most, it may depend on where you live. So there's a recent hurricane map that has come out, and take a look at this, Jim. It's really interesting. Just some of the places and what storms people remember the most. So, for example, look here in the Mississippi Gulf region, Katrina kind of trumps Camille. That's a little surprising to me.
Yeah, and oftentimes people say if there was a big storm before, well, I'm going to measure what I do and how I react by the storm before. And we all know that Andrew surge was actually higher than Katrina.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Camille, I should say.
And I lived in the Mid-Atlantic in Washington, D.C. area, and I remember Hurricane Isabel because it actually knocked us out with power. I was without power 5 days.
As a tropical storm,
and it was a tropical storm at that point. So, but it's just interesting to see how Hugo really dominates people's minds in South Carolina.
And the other thing, too, is you'll notice that, Ivan came in down along the Florida coast, but here it is right here, Ivan 2004. But then if you look up into the north, you can see where Ivan flooded our friends in western Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
so it's not just a coastal impact.
Well, and people from the older days remember that with Camille as well. We had some mountain flooding from Camille
and
as
Agnes,
well.
of course.
Exactly. And even so, it's really interesting to see how people's memory and so Tropical Storm Allison wasn't even a hurricane, but I'm sure people remember that. So let's go into our Hail No segment, because you often hear people talk about that they shouldn't evacuate or shouldn't be concerned if it's not a hurricane. Oh, it's just a tropical storm.
Oof. Well,
yeah,
you know
what? Are your thoughts there?
Where was I? I was just in Hawaii, right? For Iselle.
Yeah.
And everyone's saying, well, it's only a tropical storm. There are still people without power.
I know that.
Even when this show is going to play, there will still be over 1,000 people without power. So.
Well, ask people about Allison. Meandered along the Gulf Coast for days.
And then the remnants of it actually do incredible flooding in Houston.
Allison never became a hurricane, but actually had its name retired. So that's really interesting to note. I even heard someone on a show after Sandy, oh, it's just a Category 3, don't need to worry. It was not a Category 3, so I don't need to worry about it. And we saw what happened with Sandy.
Tropical Storm Irene moves into my home state of Vermont. Until I saw what was happening on social media, I hadn't realized just how bad it was.
Yeah.
But when I'm seeing water in places that I've never seen it before, I'm like, this is a huge deal.
Yeah, and so
huge deal.
We've got to get the message out there to the public that it's the impact of the storm. It's not necessarily always the category of the storm, because we know that tropical storms, Cat 1s, can do significant damage.
I've covered 80 of these, and I can tell you every single one of them is different.
Exactly, and they have their own hazards. So that's a really important message, and it's an important message to remember in many weather hazards, the fact that it's not necessarily intensity that's important. So, Jim, as we move into the peak of the season here in 2014, we know that the peak of the hurricane season is around second week of September or so.
10th.
What are your thoughts going into these next couple of weeks?
Well, it hasn't been a busy 2 years, right? In terms of big impacts, we haven't had a major hurricane in many, many days, many years. You have to go back to Wilma in 2005. So don't let your guard down. All it takes is one. We have a system now that we're watching that really we don't really know who it's going to impact, if anybody. And could it be one of these things where in 48 hours we literally go from nothing to something that is now a very dangerous storm, potentially for Florida, the Carolinas, or points north?
And kudos to the National Hurricane Center and to the Weather Channel for calling out some of these irresponsible forecasts that have been viral on social media as well. I think that's a big issue, and I'm glad to see some of the meteorologists and agencies standing up and sort of pushing back on some of that.
Well, you know how I look at that? I know who I would trust with my kids.
Right.
I want people to look at this and say, who am I going to trust with my weather?
Right.
There are great local forecasters, there are great National Weather Service forecasters, and there are great national media forecasters.
Exactly.
There are other people out there that are trying to get their name in the business, and that's fine.
Social meteorologists.
Right, and that's probably not the safest way to go.
Absolutely.
There's certainly a chance that one line 9 days out may be right, but there's a very high chance that it will not be.
Absolutely. And so that's all we have. I want to thank you, Jim Cantore,
pleasure,
for joining
sir.
us.
Thanks
It's
for
been an
having me, Dr.
honor.
Marshall.
And get into the conversation with us. If you like Weather Geeks or you have something to recommend, visit us on Twitter, Weather Geeks TWC.
The Dueler tires on Terrence Knighton's truck are engineered to be Bridgestone's best SUV tires, and now they have an 80,000-mile tread wear warranty.
Guess we're gonna be here a while.
First time on a treadmill?
What are you saying?
I'm just saying.
Right now, when you buy 4 select Bridgestone tires, you can receive a $70 Bridgestone Visa prepaid card by mail. Bridgestone, we're changing the game in tire performance.
I've seen hurricanes, floods, I've seen tornadoes. We give out Duracell batteries after the worst happens. And when the power's out for days, we stay with them. You might say they lost everything, but that's not what I see. I see a different kind of power. I saw it in Ruth, Adam, Tom. It's the power they have inside of them. The power to move forward.
At Duracell, we believe that's the power that never, ever goes out.
Go get help, boy. Go get help. Go get help. Right now.
If you're a cat, you ignore people. It's what you do.
Come on.
If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
Go on, kitty, kitty.
Sorry, kids.
Feeling dead on your feet?
I've been on my feet all day.
Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles have a unique gel wave design for outrageous comfort that helps you feel more energized. Dr. Scholl's, feel the energy.
Buying new windows is a big decision, but it doesn't have to be a hard one. Ask your neighbors if they'd recommend Champion Windows. Better yet, ask 30,000 of them. An independent firm did, and more than 9 out of 10 said they love Champion Windows, and our salespeople, installation crews, and our price. And now, get 20% off new windows, or no interest until 2021. Call 844-4CHAMPION today. And hurry, offer ends soon. The decision is easy. Every home needs a champion.
I would kill for something sweet. I know. We could have one of those. One? Are you kidding? We'll end up eating like 30. Wanna split that? No. So much fat.
Don't fight your instincts. With each for 150 calories or less, try our chocolatey brownies, tangy lemon bars, and new creamy cheesecakes. Fiber One. Go on, have one.
So, Jill, I know the markets have taken a hit lately. Just wanted to touch base.
We came to manage over $800 billion in assets through FaceTime when you really need it. It's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing.
Okay, so you have 3 kids, and they all want to go to the pool now. But if it's going to start pouring, don't you want to know before you go? Now the Weather Channel can help you make the right call. Download the app and know when the rain starts and where the lightning strikes.
To the movies!
Smart move, Mom. The Weather Channel app. Weather precise.
Currently in our area, 86 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, thunderstorms likely. High 86. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Chance of rain 80%. Tonight, scattered thunderstorms. Monday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 89. Chance of rain 60%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Okay, so you have 3 kids, and they all want to go to the pool now. But if it's going to start pouring, don't you want to know before you go? Now the Weather Channel can help you make the right call. Download the app and know when the rain starts and where the lightning strikes.
To the movies!
Smart move, Mom. The Weather Channel app. Weather precise.
I'm Mike Bettis. That's Sarah. Welcome to the set of a brand new show, Weather Underground. There'll be experts, bloggers, the smartest weather minds in the business on every screen you have 24 hours a day. Geeking out on what's happening in weather, how it happens, and why it's so freaking cool.
Weather Underground, weeknights at 6 on the Weather Channel. In this episode of Lava Chasers, a pair of intrepid photographers search for fresh lava.
You can already smell your shoes melting a little bit.
Old underground magma tunnels prove a hazard for workmen.
There have been people killed, falling into huge tubes.
And a bizarre ancient ritual in praise of the volcano god is being brought back to life.
You don't want something like that impaling your body.
Volcanoes are planet Earth's most powerful force, breathtakingly beautiful, yet devastatingly deadly. Shaking the world, changing the weather, and burning the land. But for some, lava's lure is irresistible. Instead of running, there are those who seek out close encounters with Hawaii's molten rock. These intrepid few are the Lava Chasers. Nestling in the middle of the Pacific Ocean is the island chain of Hawaii. The islands boast 5 active volcanoes, one of which, Kilauea, has been spewing fire and molten rock continuously for the last 30 years, attracting lava lovers from around the world.
I photograph the active flows. No matter where they are, I hike there.
Brian Lowry is a Hawaii-based photographer who has devoted his career to capturing stunning shots of molten lava. Originally from Michigan, 52-year-old Brian has been on an extraordinary life journey. Born with severe disabilities, it was thought that Brian would never be able to walk at all, let alone hike for hours across treacherous volcanic terrain.
When I was born with club feet kind of almost backwards, wore braces for quite a few years. But the funny thing is, wearing the braces as a kid, it made my legs really strong.
It's midnight, and Brian's packing for his next hike out to the lava flow. He'll be taking with him English photographer Jimmy Reynolds, a first-timer when it comes to lava.
It's been a dream of mine to go out there and actually find lava flows to time-lapse.
We never know what we're going to see, so we need to get going.
Brian and Jimmy are heading out onto the eastern rift zone of Kilauea. Lava's been flowing on these slopes continuously since 1983. To get there by dawn, the guys will have to hike all night. The paved road ends abruptly. From now on, they'll be walking on old lava flows. This uneven terrain stretches for miles.
Okay, we're gonna cross this tumulus, so watch your step.
Oh yeah.
This is the most common cause of injury out here. People fall in, break their legs, arms, they even get wedged in there and stuck. Okay, we're getting close to the lava flow now.
After trekking for 5 hours, a glow on the horizon tells them that they've found what they're looking for. With just half an hour till sunrise, they need to quickly prep their equipment if they're to capture their dawn lava shots.
Ooh, can feel the heat.
Nice and warm too.
You can hear it crackling.
It's a steep learning curve for Jimmy. Working next to the 2,000 degrees molten lava is fraught with risk. Both the photographer and his equipment are in danger.
Obviously, I've never been this close to molten lava with my camera, but I guess...
You can get as close as you can stand the heat.
Right.
It's basically like a built-in safety system.
Over on the famed north shore of Oahu, fascination with volcanoes takes a different form. Tom Pohaku Stone is a proud Hawaiian who is keeping alive the customs and practices of his forefathers. Traditional Hawaiian culture is inextricably linked to the island's volcanoes.
Volcanic eruptions actually provide the life that we need for where we live. It's our spirit.
In old Hawaiian mythology, all eruptions here are the work of volcano goddess Pele. For centuries, Hawaiian people have honored her. Warriors used to ride down old lava flows on narrow wooden sleds called papahuloa to prove their mettle. Today, Tom Stone still crafts these traditional 12-foot-long sleds. By lashing together wooden struts with yarn, he's on a mission to bring the ancient and dangerous ritual of hehehuloa back to life.
It's your willingness to actually put yourself in danger. It's sort of like a self-sacrifice.
But he needs to make sure that his workmanship is up to scratch.
If this should break, the lashing should break and it come apart, it's guaranteed you're going to be impaled.
Lava here in Hawaii can impact on people's lives in surprising ways.